Simon, what's your take on this? Incidentally, had you ever heard of this phrase, light bulbed? Leroy Sané was light bulbed at the weekend. It was Joe, the producer, was saying. I'm like, what? What do you mean he was light bulbed? Apparently he was switched on and off.
Switched off, yeah.
He goes on as a sub and then sub.
Board off, yeah.
Yeah. So Sané, anyway, light bulbed at the weekend. It's not going as well as he might have thought it would at Bayern Munich. Eden Hazard, to be fair to him, not going well, but for reasons of injury. Yeah. But it has turned into a bit of a bad dream that might go further into the nightmare category. Not least, there are others. Christian Eriksen, Inter Milan. You see where I'm going here, Simon?
Be careful what you wish for mentality, yeah.
Be careful what you wish for. Big money moves to big clubs, but very definitely not working out. So these days, are we not finding out that the grass ain't always greener at some of these big name clubs? And also this week he was in the news, now whether or not this will happen, but Mo Salah appearing to be linked with Real Madrid and Barcelona. Yeah. Now he obviously didn't green light in any shape or form. He's happy at Liverpool and he leaves it to the club to talk about things like that. But the fact of the matter is Real Madrid and Barcelona would probably, yes, be very interested in Mo Salah. Is the argument these days maybe you're best placed staying where you are?
Depends upon the personality that you are. I mean, Eden Hazard is an unfair comparison because I didn't like his behaviour during the Mourinho period where he really did down tools, and I think sometimes you reap what you sow and it goes back round in circles when you least expect it.
Yeah.
But his is a lot to do with injuries. Leroy Sané is a challenge because I think if you can't get the message from Pep Guardiola, then I'm not sure who you can get it from to enhance your game.
True.
And to do things in a certain way. And it seems that the same. It's the age-old thing. If you are the problem, all that supersedes that is geography. So you just take the problem with you, and the problem maintains, which is there's a certain style of play. And if you look at what was expected with him from Man City, he didn't seem to want to comply to those wishes. And it seems to be the same allegation is being put to him about working back, helping his fullback, being more involved in the game. There's no doubt Leroy Sané is an incredible talent, both on the international stage and at times domestically. But we're seeing a situation where going to a huge club like Bayern Munich, I don't think it's about these players shrinking and shriveling under the light of a far bigger club, because Man City is a pretty big club in the first place. I think it's about understanding where they really are in the bigger picture of things, which is that at clubs like Bayern Munich, players get to the point where they sometimes believe that they're bigger than the clubs that they play for.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can levy that accusation or levy that opportunity to have that assumption when you start landing in clubs like Bayern Munich and Real Madrid.
Sure.
But
I think it seems to be a case of hit and miss, doesn't it? It really does.
Well, it depends upon an individual player. You know, you took Laurie Cunningham out of West Bromwich Albion and put him in Real Madrid 30, 40 years ago, and he didn't shrink under that light. He went and excelled and actually went to a different level. Tragically, obviously, he lost his life over in Spain, but he rose to a different standard. Steve McManaman went from Liverpool to Real Madrid and was a great success there. It will depend upon the individual player. This draw and this lure, I look at it and go, well, why would somebody want to leave a club like Liverpool? And then, of course, it becomes almost, for want of a better expression, it becomes a bucket list mentality that if you've won the Premier League at Liverpool and you've won the Champions League at Liverpool, yet you haven't played at Barcelona or you haven't played at Real Madrid, then there's always that thought process that, I've done this and maybe I want to go somewhere else. It's not going to be saying Liverpool isn't good enough for me or I'm disrespectful towards Liverpool.
Sure. It depends what you've achieved there at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why Souness chose to go to Sampdoria, having won everything at
because
Liverpool.
He'd reached a certain level at Liverpool and wanted to go and play in Italian football, and then came back from Italian football back to Scottish football and ended up managing over there. But I think it's about the individual players and how they approach it. Of course, the challenges that each club brings, they are very different. Playing for Madrid and the expectations and the attitude and outlook of the Madrileno fans in Madrid and their disposition towards players and the Galacticos mentality that was brought up during the 2003 campaign when Beckham was signed there, and the whole aspiration and where Madrid are as a club probably doesn't help Eden Hazard because they're not in their finest fettle. They don't have, with respect to the fact that Zidane has won the Champions League, that's as much to do with the quality of players that he's had as to do with the quality of his management.
Yeah.
But Leroy Sané is a curious one because he has an innate amount of ability, but I think this is the classic case in point of a penny not dropping with a player. Clearly these clubs and clearly their expectation now is that wingers are to work in a certain way. They're not to be out wide like they used to be and only at one part of the pitch. They have to track back and support their fullbacks.
Yeah.
And Leroy Sané is getting the same exact observations made of him at Bayern Munich as he did at Man City.
Sure.
So it has to be Leroy Sané.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
not about grasses being greener, I don't think.